up.
Oh, it'll record. It's recording right now. So again, we just having this conversation. Bam, listen. So throughout the years, we've been talking, and I think that the biggest injustice that we've been doing to each other is not recording it, because we get deep sometimes. So that's why the other day I said, man, yesterday I said, damn, man, we gotta stop. So this recording is recording. Don't worry about it. See the button right there.
Okay.
And you've been up, you said, since 1 o'clock, and I'm not even sure if I went to sleep because I've been going all in and out. Why are you up since 1 o'clock? Talk to me, man.
Well, brother, I just have this drive, this passion, man. Just, I'm not going to say it's out of desperation, it's out of survival. It's just like I got some things that I'm trying to accomplish, man, that's bigger than what I can explain. My dreams, my visions. As a matter of fact, I want to stop using the term dreams, because a dream is something people just like sit back and think about. I'm taking action. That's why I'm up, man. When I feel moved about writing something or editing something or doing a book, I come down where we at now and I just begin to do it. I can't talk about it. I got to do it, man. And because I know what it's like of sitting back waiting for somebody to do something for you and they don't, and you disappointed. So and I'm glad that my wife and my kids accept that he's up at 1 o'clock, he's up at 12 o'clock. Leave him alone, let him be. And that's the only way I can really connect to my creative juices. And when the family wakes up, I can do the responsible things and not be distracted from giving my all to my wife and my kids,
So that's the real deal. I think that's a common denominator with people that are successful, because they have that hunger and that have that drive. And other people say, take it easy, slow down. Why are you working so hard? You're gonna make yourself sick and come on. And then when we look back and we see how Microsoft started something like this on a box, with a green screen in the corner, with a bed, with no excuses. We see those photos afterwards and we're like, wow, because it's in the beginning that the magic happens. But in your mind, before you take that action, you go into some conflict, right? Yeah. Because people start making judgments when they don't even understand. You don't know why you have to do things. You just know you got to do it. Yeah. So you're being driven by a whole other force of energy. Am I right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right, brother. I mean, it's like like I said, it's not about the money. I mean, I think back, and you can relate to this as a kid. When there was so much negativity, the only escape that I had was probably go steal a black belt magazine or begin to write on a piece of paper that we call vision boards today. You know what I'm saying? Or take a piece of paper and just write out all these things you have in your imagination that's allowing you to escape from the abuse and all the things that's happening in our environment. But you wake up one day as an entrepreneur and you realize, oh man, I've always been writing goals. I've always been doing vision boards. I've always been mapping out, my little business plan or whatever. It probably was with a crayon or whatever, but that freed me from the stress of the reality that I was going through. So when I got to a point now where I can do it because I want to do it. I mean, think about it, Jerry. You've been down in my studio. As a kid, I always wished I could have a set of turntables where I can mix music, or I can have like a video camera. When they had 8mm video cameras, I always used to steal my dad's and film things. And I was like, man, one day I want to get that. My son and my wife believed in what I was trying to do so much. On my birthday, my wife went out and brought me my first set of turntables. That was it, brother. This is a grown adult. She went out, she understood and knew what I wanted. And since then, you've been down here, man. I got every type of camera, every type of audio, whatever. I've never been to school on how to film movies or write books, but I ain't gonna let it stand in my way. I'm gonna send it out incorrectly spelled. I'm gonna send it out edited where people say, man, that ain't gonna work. Well, guess what? It did work, and I'm gonna continue, because as a person that has a drive, your authenticity will always come through the incorrect spelling and even the confusion, because other authentic people can connect to your spirit. Am I
Oh,
telling the
baby, I
truth?
like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like. Is that what you're talking about?
That's
Oh,
what we
baby, I
talk.
like it raw.
That's
That's
it.
that flavor. And other people are concerned about starting. I
Yeah,
don't know where to start, so I start where I am. You
yeah,
know, props to my man, special ed. Hopefully, I get special ed. But yeah, so that's 100%. So that's the expression. So what you're talking about is hey, you're daydreaming. You're a dreamer.
yeah, yeah,
That's what I used to hear, and I'm like, yeah, because I remember the day I walked into my first official karate school. I started throwing my kicks, doing my thing on the bag. And these kids looked over like, check him out, he thinks he's a black belt, I heard. And I looked over, I ain't talked to them, I didn't know them. You don't talk to kids you don't know, my neighborhood. And and I said in my mind, I'm a black belt, I just haven't got it yet.
yeah,
you know, I didn't
yeah,
know that was good. I didn't know that was starting with the end in mind, but I just had that attitude that what I'm supposed to be able to do here. Lose. I'm already freaking losers. I can't lose. I'm gonna learn. I always knew
yeah,
that. We played so many sports in our block, right? And our block was known for being really athletic, but being real good at bank robbing too, and stick up kids. Like we had them all. Like we were good at it too. Infamous, right? And if you couldn't play a game, let's say you're playing, for argument's sake, let's say you're playing a 5-person game for whatever it was, football, and you sucked, they would rather play with two. Nah, man, I'd rather play with four. He sucks.
yeah,
It's,
yeah, exactly. That's right. That's right, man. Yeah,
well, they would say, I'll take the little girl
yeah,
instead
yeah,
of him.
yeah,
Bro, and that whole thing there made us get up early
yeah.
and practice.
Right.
It wasn't daddy or mommy. You went out and you left the house.
That's
You
right.
had to come before the lights, the street lights got on, but you left the house and you went to learn. And your
Yeah,
self-esteem could get eradicated or built up based on the results that you were able to obtain on struggling, man. I don't care what it was. If you could spit far, you have props for spitting
yeah,
far. If you could
yeah,
play Skelly, if you could freaking, Johnny on the pony, didn't matter what game it was. All those physical games were tests of endurance, man. Try to
yeah,
play some tag right now, or some ringalivia, or roundup, or whatever the case may be. And if you play Johnny on the pony and you was out of shape, or if you was whack, they made you the pillow. You're like, I want to be the pillow, but you have no other choice.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and you're right about that, man. You had to earn that. I mean, if you didn't know how to play, come on, I didn't know how to play basketball. I didn't know how to play football, but you learned how to play basketball good enough so they wouldn't elbow you or knock you down. Come on. I mean, we played tackle football with no equipment. You know what I'm saying? I
The
remember one
snow.
time
We,
getting
we thought
tackled.
we thought the snow was soft.
Yeah. So it's like you could not be a sucker, because the last thing I know I couldn't do, I couldn't go home crying because my dad would whip my butt and say, "You don't want to fight? Well, you going to learn to fight now." My dad would beat me. So I got so tired of being beaten by my dad for not fighting back that when I started making up my little karate and I had to represent, I ain't gonna say I won every fight, but I stood up well enough for myself where it's like, yo, I ain't messing with him. In the street, all you got to do is make it harder for the bully to take your money, and he ain't even gonna mess with you no more. So all these people that claim like, yo, I won every fight. Well, you ain't come up in no hood that I've been up, because I don't know nobody that went in any street fight and was undefeated, because there's some bad guys in every hood that's gonna bring you a move. Right or wrong, Jerry?
Yeah. No, but this is the thing. If you was really, really good at it and you did, you got jumped.
Yeah, exactly. Somebody got you, because in the street, you can't go around claiming I'm the best. Not in no hood. You ain't no best. That always trips me out about a martial artist, where on social media or some type of magazine, I am the greatest. No, Bruce Lee wasn't even the greatest. He just ain't go to no hood where he could walk around freely, because somebody was going to try him. I'm sorry, man. It just
Hey, but
hurt
yeah,
to hear
yeah,
that,
yeah.
man.
Well, hey, listen, it's the same thing. Like, but for whatever it's worth, I never changed, bro. Didn't matter if I was broke, wealthy, skinny, fat like I was. It didn't matter. And I know a lot of people used to try to say, give me some advice to me. Man, why don't you just chill, man? You'll be able to be what? Not myself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing things for any other reason for doing what I think is honest. I was I know in some circles, I was like what would have been the Messiah without me being out of line because I was giving people a lot of information. They were doing it in this circuit. In this circuit, I was like the Antichrist because I was freaking throwing a black eye and all the nonsense. I would tell them, no one freaking paid to see two fat men on stage dancing and I yelled in the nighttime fighting. I didn't give a damn because I was destroying what I thought was an opportunity for me to get the hell out of, we called it the ghetto.
Yeah.
We ain't talking profit here. You know what I'm saying? It ain't profit here. so I could not understand how people who are so incredible, unique martial artists, meaning animals, let themselves get domesticated. Like, no, don't get declawed. No, be yourself because long term, you're going to be respected so much more. And more importantly, when you look in that mirror, you'll be like, you know what, man? I did it my way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the beauty, brother. I traveled from Baltimore all by myself, man. And I'm sorry because I get emotional about this stuff, man.
Come on, man. It's the truth. We're not supposed to be here. Then again, we're supposed to be here. That's why we're doing this.
I seen my mom on welfare. I seen the stuff that was going on. My only hope, and that was the beauty of martial arts back then. You could pick up a karate magazine and you can open the front up and you can get the ratings. And you didn't have to have a lot of money. All you had to have was the will, the desire, and the courage to make up something and get on a bus or get in a car with a group of people and go to a tournament and pay your entry fee, and you were judged based upon how good you were, not based upon the politics, or I call them the politricks of some tournament circuit that wanted to have this certain image of what martial arts represent. I'm honored, man, to know that I was able to go to the Madison Square Garden and compete at the Oriental World, at the S. Henry Cho's All-American Championships, or go to Jamaica, Queens, and win Fred Hamilton's Battle of the Dojos and Zodiac. Come on, man. They don't do it like that. No, and they come from Baltimore doing Kung Fu, Jerry. Come on, man. Come on.
No. A black dude doing Kung Fu and winning. Come on, let's keep it real. If you guys haven't noticed, you know what I'm saying? Because the truth of the matter is that listen, man, martial arts is supposed to be, and it has been in many cases, but not always, equal opportunity based on your skills, period.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no question about it. We're not relatives, but we are family 1,000%.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just like family is as dysfunctional as any family.
Yeah.
It's funny because people say, like when you said, I see my mother on welfare, and I remember welfare was an upgrade. Shit, we're gonna have some money now to be able to eat twice a month.
Yeah. Food stamps.
I remember going into the projects. It wasn't, in other words, there's different levels to everything, right?
Yeah.
So I remember when we was praying that hopefully perhaps we can get into the project, because the projects, you was the first person to live there. You didn't have to worry about the leaks and the roaches and all the nonsense you had to do with some decapitated freaking nonsense old tenement buildings, with the box in the top and you pull the chain and that's how the water came down. New York has some old stuff. So that's us living in Spanish Harlem. And then we moved up to the South Bronx. Like, my God, we moved up. We moved up to the South Bronx. And the only people that were living in the projects during that time in New York were Irish, Italian, and Jewish, because that was not what people would consider the ghetto. That was the upgrade of the tenement buildings, but people just don't know that.
Yeah. But think about it, Jerry. And here's the thing: if I tell my dad, if I mention poverty or ghetto, he would smack me. See, because even though we use those terminologies now so people could identify with our struggle, it was a great place, man. It was nothing but love. The respect that we had to show in those communities is what's missing in society. It's like you can leave that environment and go to the suburbs and go to corporate America, and you're like, hold up, man, I was never, where's the integrity? Where's the respect? Where's the loyalty? Where's the honor? Martial arts don't even have that no more. People ask me, they say, man, were you in the military? No. My dad just told me, if you don't say thank you, sir, or say yes, ma'am, he would smack me upside my head. So the things that I teach that are based upon good character, that don't come from the martial arts. Because, Jerry, let's be real. Even in the beginning, we were so into talent, nobody was teaching you anything about respect and confidence. That respect that you learned in the dojo, it was because you survived that black belt test, or let alone the brown belt test. Let's forget black belt, because back then, if you could survive brown belt, brother, or red belt, you got the black belt. It wasn't no black belt test. Black belt was the reward for surviving brown belt. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Right or wrong.
Every class, the instructor was determined to have more people quit.
That's right, man.
And they would tell you, well, let's find out who's going to be soft. Now, it was different when I went into what would have been a professional martial arts school with Sang Soo Tiger Kim, but it really wasn't. It was, but it wasn't. And so, in other words, he had to balance that act, but they were looking for the real people. And they looked at characteristics of the real people, and they was looked at, Sang Soo Tiger Kim looked at me like, check this little kid out here.
Yeah.
And he would talk to other people. He looked at me and smiled, but put me in a position where after a matter of freaking months, I was warming up the class. And, to warm up the class, bro, that's a badge of honor at the highest level. And that's the whole thing about it, that the elders would look at you and say, hey, young blood, come over here. And they'll give you knowledge. And they would let you hang out. You might have been the bartender. I had to be the bartender. I might have been the person to go to the kitchen and get the cigarette. And as my mom was probably watching me, I never took a puff. I personally never did. I just wanted to be there because to me, hanging out with older people is just cool. I wanted to be down, not with the little kids in that room.
Yeah.
Is that true?
I was the same way, man. I ain't with people my age. I hung with the older people, man. But even when you talk about the dojo, let's think about it. As Michael Jai White said in one of my interviews, by way of the inner city, that's why martial arts is what we got today. We know, and people don't want to talk about it, but when the Asian martial arts came to this country, they got their respect from them inner cities. That's where the warriors was at. I don't care what, or it could be Tai Chi. When it got in the hood, it was effective Tai Chi. So when people used to, because I remember when I started doing wushu, and what people always say, they say, man, what's your style? Well, I don't think I can say what my style is because I learned martial arts on my own, and that was based upon trying to fight. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't about no kata. You had to learn you better make up what you saying from the movies or whatever you felt as though you had to do to survive. It wasn't no style. Forget mixed martial arts. We've been doing mixed martial arts since you was born in the hood, brother.
Yeah, so it was shit that works sprinkled with some crazy.
That's it, man. So when people would they were like, well, brother, so tell me, I mean, you're doing all this flipping. Look, if I did a backflip in the hood, that backflip, brother, I didn't kick and knock some guys out with some high kicks to the head in the hood. Because it ain't on intellect. If you just swing a round kick out of nowhere, you're gonna knock somebody out. You know it, Jerry. You done hit, look, you sit in UFC now where guys doing jump side kicks, brother, that's been going on in the hood since the beginning. Am I right?
We used to play like that. No, listen, I remember getting my first props, moving up to the Bronx because in the schoolyard we were fighting kung fu. After we saw Five Fingers of Death and Bruce Lee, it was over with, man. So I remember, so I was in Spanish Harlem, moved up to the Boogie Down Bronx, and I remember that, you know, it was this side versus that side. Now somehow it would end up happening like that, you know. We'll meet you tomorrow, you know, and lunchtime comes. As soon as you come, you run there, start kicking and punching at each other, right? And I was good with a flying sidekick. I used to kick people in the back, like, you know. And I remember the leader of my team was this girl. Because when you're little, the girls are bigger than you. And Charlie was the girl on my side, and then Bruce was on that side. Now Bruce became the world famous DJ Brucey B years after, but the point still was that, you know, if you can get down, you got props. And the older guys will look at you because they wanted to see, because most kids weren't that hardcore. If you're 10 years old and you can hang out with 12-year-olds, oh my God, or 14-year-olds. And we were always inspiring to become bigger and better. And don't be a punk, a chump. Your cousin comes around. And if he's soft, you ain't hanging out with him. It could be your cousin. I'm not hanging out with that kid. Now, if he's hardcore, now we got Batman and Robin.
And the thing, I think that's the beauty, man. It goes back to the one thing that we know even help us survive during these times. You got to have your creative ingenuity, and you can't be afraid to go out on uncertainty. That's all we did as kids. When your mom said, you can go outside, you better be back here before 9 o'clock, and you go outside, man, you be gone all day. You don't even know what you're going to do. You jumping on buses, you know what I'm saying? You going in buildings, figuring out how to break the cast on pipes down, going to the junkyard, turning it in so you can get your little money to go to the movies and stay in the movies all day and see kung fu movies and black exploitation movies. And that's it. You and your boys, y'all out there fighting, sparring, making Chinese, nunchaku and broomstick weapons. Come on, man. It was the greatest of times, brother.
We played in the abandoned buildings, man. You know, exactly. and those abandoned buildings, you know, you got all types of, it was like a great adventure every time. And you're right. Like now, most of the times, you know, you still had to come back for at least lunch.
Yeah.
But somehow, time used to just fly. And I remember I was supposed to stay within a radius.
Yeah.
But I already knew that radius. It was time to explore.
Yeah.
And I remember your mom would yell, and that echo would go to, man, it would hit me 3 blocks away because someone said, yeah, your mom's looking for you.
Yeah.
Now, if for some reason you messed up, I'm thinking about it right now. And your mom, in my case, it was my mom. My dad was incarcerated during that time. I was so scared because somebody, like 10 people told me your mom was looking for you by the time you got, the closer you got, the more people told you, ooh.
Yeah.
Your mom's looking for you. You thinking, oh, shit, ooh. And then I would come to my mom and she would look at me, you know, nostrils flared. I could see her brain, you know, tapping on some leg or whatever it was. And she said, she was asking me what I did. Didn't I tell you to? Like, oh, shit. Now, if I lied, I'm going to get my butt whooped. So I lied. She whipped my butt. Damn it. She said, that's one. My mom had a freaking way to torture me, man, like psychologically, man. Because she would psych me sometimes. She would hit me sometimes, and other times, no, that's one time. That's 2 times. The third one, 1, 2, and 3 is going to be combined. I'm like, shit, she has to figure out ways to make me avoid. But my mom taught me how, if I lied, I would get hit. So I started telling the truth, and she didn't hit me. I still had to suffer the consequences. I might have got punished, but she didn't hit me. So I learned, man, I ain't lying to nobody. I ain't scared of you. So don't ask me no questions. I'll tell you no lie. Right? Because I don't want that little kid to be a liar, even though my brother, rest in peace, was really good at that shit.
But I think the beautiful thing about that too, I call it that it's a fear that you have towards your parents out of respect. You know, my dad, when I got in trouble, he said, "All right, you know what time it is. Go back to the room, take them pants down. I'll be back there in a minute." You knew what time it was. You knew it was done. You did something wrong. It was done. Ain't no way I'm going to talk back to my dad. Ain't no way I'm going to talk back to my mother.
Not even today. Not even today. It ain't happening.
Yes, that's that. So when I see that, but let's go even further, Jerry. I remember, and you talk about our neighborhoods. I remember, man, you could cut class and it would be some old lady, probably like 6 blocks down the street. And she like, "Oh, don't you supposed to be in school?" And we didn't have no beepers. We didn't have no cell phones. And you don't disrespect her. She probably said, "I'm going to tell your mother on you." You'll turn your back. And you probably like say to your friends, like, "Man, I wish she said." She said, "What'd you say? I can't hear you. What you say?" You know you done turned away from her. So ain't no way she can read your lips. Now you like, "Oh, I didn't say anything." So you walk into the house. You still don't know how. The moment you walked up them steps, your dad said, "Oh, you know what time it is. You don't want to go to school." You're like, how the hell did she 6 blocks away with no telephone tell my mom that she seen me? But
the same way Aquaman was talking to the fish. That mental telepathy, bro. That mental telepathy. And you lucky that lady didn't put her foot up your ass.
That's right.
Talk
And
about, what are you doing?
She had the permission to do that. That's
The
what those
village.
communities. So everybody keep talking about the hood. See, the problem is this, and I'm gonna be real, brother. It's not until we got out of that community that built us up and empowered us that we started trying to adjust to other things that other people were doing. See, that was that village concept where everybody, and it wasn't about no racism because white people lived there or Chinese people lived there. They were the coolest.
Hold on a second. See, we learned racism when we went to better neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Because when we were home, I never described my boy by his color, creed, or race. I said his name, and then other people were surprised. I'm like, what? That was corny. That was whack. Because you didn't care if a person was skinny, fat, green, purple. They just couldn't be corny. They could, because if they were corny, I wasn't hanging out with no corny mothers. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, keep going.
But let's be real. All the things that we see in the world today, whatever choices people want to make, it don't matter. That always went on in our community. But out of respect, it's to me, it's like I think about my life. When I decided to make choices, because nobody in my family sold drugs or used drugs, I made a choice to want to be a drug dealer. Okay? And I made that choice, and I said it before, because my friend got murdered. My best friend got murdered. So it was in my mind that I was going to take revenge on the people that killed him.
Wait, because the Kung Fu movies did that too. See, Kung Fu movies, you killed my brother! That
right,
thing was...
Right. And you're right, that's right. But, you know, it still was like, back then, man, when y'all were friends, y'all was friends. Y'all probably cursed each other out. Y'all probably beat each other up to a point.
You might have cut yourself and made yourself blood brothers too, man.
Right, exactly. When I went to China, I did that, brother. But, you know, the point is that when my best friend, who made a choice to become a drug addict, not a drug dealer, by putting a needle in his arm, and this is a true story. I was returning from the U.S. Open. I had just beat Keith Itabashi, Javon Holmes, and everybody. It was like a wow moment. I'm returning from the U.S. Open in Florida. That's when Jerry went. See, this when you had to do it was like, it came to a time where you had to do one kata and win first place, but then you had to go to the second round against the seeded competitors.
Yes, and it was the best thing ever. But wait a minute, before you made it to that round, you looked down that line. Holy crap, and then you look this way. Whoa!
So look,
that's when 8th place was huge.
Exactly, brother. So this is my first time. I win the first round. Over 20 or 30, if not more competitors. Now I got to go up against Keith Itabashi, Javon Holmes, all the top-rated Karate Illustrated forms competitors, and I win. So you can imagine I'm on cloud 9. I come back, I'm talking to my dad about what happened. You know, he like, all right, let's go get a drink, son. Let's go to the bar. So I'm going myself. My dad decides to go to the bar. I say, no, Dad, I'm going to the rec and I'm going to start practicing. I go to the rec, I'm in there practicing. And all of a sudden, I didn't realize, because at this time, I'm traveling the country. I'm training with Peter Morales. I'm training with Roger Tong. All these people to refine my skills in Tacoma, Washington, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm getting on a bus just because if you want to be good, you got to learn from the best. Are you following me, Jerry? So I'm here training, and all of a sudden, I didn't realize that the community done changed. So now you can no longer hang out on the street because the drug dealers are killing people in the playground. But I was gone in the world of martial arts, and I didn't get that. So on this day, I'm now introduced to the change of the community. I'm in there working out, and all I hear is boom, boom, bop, bop, bop. I run out, and I see my boy shot 9 times in front of the building. So I'm hurt. And my other boys who know what's going on, I ain't even gonna go there. They're like, yo, he done just crossed the line. He now a fiend. He had to be dealt with. What you gonna do? It's like, bro, we miss you, man. Can you come on? We miss you at the club. We miss you with this. So in a state of confusion, what do? I chose to go that way. I never meant to do that shit. Nobody don't understand that, man. And I never meant to be that person. But I had to be that person because I felt like I didn't have any other choice. So I gave up the martial arts to go out and stay high every day because I didn't want to be the person I had to be to survive in a community and in a hood that people don't understand and they claim to understand. Sorry, brother, man. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, and again, there's nothing sorry. Let's think about this, right? See, in my neighborhood, the ghetto superstars, like in most neighborhoods, were the drug dealers. They were the stick-up kids, except that no bragging, but the same way you had the young Turks back in the day, with Lucky Luciano and the rest of the guys, they were in their late teens, early 20s. Shit, if you was in your early 20s, you was running shit.
Yeah.
My boys, I come up in the hip-hop culture, and there's levels of that too.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm looking at, to me, that's just my boy. I don't know that he's, notorious, infamous dealer, because anytime I came around, they respected me.
Right.
See, this is what happened, right? Because of the weekends where the tournaments happened, I was away during those times, which is what you said. So while they were getting better, there was 5 of us that didn't smoke yet. And then there was 3 of us. And then I was the sole survivor. Why? Most likely because I was away at a tournament. However, I was also their bragging rights. I was their Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
I was their Karate Fever boy. So they protected my reputation. So if anybody tried to say something stupid, but yo, bro, you better shut up. He's down for real, for real. He just happens to be doing that, but he's down for real, for real. Watch your mouth. That type of stuff. So I felt like I had a responsibility. I've always been like that. I'm representing a bunch of freaking people that aren't here.
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I make them look good. And I was believed in that. That's why whether it was in sports or competing. See, karate to me, it was easy because it wasn't fighting. There's rules. Yeah. There's freaking rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
But when you have to worry about your cousin or your next door neighbor going into your house and robbing you, and not, you can't even get mad if they did. You just had to be aware so they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because if you get caught out there, I got caught out there, man. Can't even get mad.
Yeah.
If you get stuck up, you can't even, you laugh. Damn, I can't believe I got caught out there. It's not crying, but shit, I got man. And it was so fun. I remember I just finished watching Snake and Eagle Shadow. Jackie Chan, right? And I had a bomber, but it was a little late during that time. This 1985, and my bomber had holes inside the pockets, and the how you call it, the hoodie, the zipper was messed up. Cause I got mad, you know, I'm gonna be a father. I was bugging the hell out, right? And I messed up my coat. So I'm reading Lee Haney's was on the cover of Muscle and Fitness because he just finished winning the first Mr. Olympia. Lee Haney, right? That was one of my guys too. And I see this guy, yo, running. And I look at him, like, what? Then I looked at the distance. The guy had the gun. And then I looked behind me. I said, I got caught in the triangle. I can't get mad. I can't get mad. I said, I look, I remember their faces. Remember their faces. Take off the coat, give it to him, continue reading. That's it. Joke's on them. Why? That jacket is busting. There's holes in the pocket, the zipper messed up, and they're gonna get their ass whooped badly when I see the ass next time. Because, and I didn't even skip a beat, man. And I'm thinking, I got caught out there. Now, how would other people respond to something like that?
Yeah. But
You know what I
here's
mean?
the beautiful thing about that, and you're right. If you get caught up, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? That means you got caught slipping. You got caught reading the magazine. You know what I'm saying? You forgot to be aware of your surroundings. But this is the beautiful thing, man. You know, I don't ever regret any choice that I made, because as a man, I made that choice because that's the only choices I thought I could make. So when I made that choice, yeah, I became a part of one of the biggest drug operations in the whole city of Baltimore. Here's the
So there you is. See, that's what I was gonna say. So whatever you do, whether it's good or bad, you want to do it at a high standard, right?
Right. Exactly. So for me, when I sat there and I realized what was at stake and what I had to do, that's my wife. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at her messages.
Yeah, no problem.
What I realized I had to do in order to be the most creative ingenuity drug person in the operation, I had to be high. See, because this is what I learned. When I learned how to be a businessman, because in this operation, we had to show up on time. We had to come in a half an hour before the shop opened up. Had to check the steps for the stick up man. And you wore no jewelry. You wore nothing that represented you looking like a drug dealer. And the reason why you even wore your boots, it was called Herman Survivors back then, and you kept the strings loose because you had to run 9 flights of stairs. And if you had them boots tied up, they messed up your ankles. So it wasn't like you were trying to make a fashion statement. You would end, guess what? If you came in the building with a hoodie over top of your head, you probably wasn't going to come out alive because you were a stick-up man. So it's like you see all these things, you learn all these things. You came to work at 9 o'clock. I mean, it got so bad, brother, and I'm not promoting this, where we had contracts where people were trying to take us out. So guess what? I said, look, because people got to come in the building, let's search everybody. So what we started doing, I came up with a method, spread them. We had to search everybody. If you ain't get searched, you got thrown in the dumpster. I searched my family if you came in the building. My dad always laughs. He said, no, my son used to own the building. No, I faked like I owned the building because that's what we thought we had. But do I regret that? Because here's the beautiful thing about that. That's why I don't do what I do for money. Because when I seen Scarface, I thought Scarface stole what we did when I was living that life. I done seen more money and more things than most people could ever even possibly imagine. And I done came so close to moments where I could be dead or I could be in jail for life. But because of martial arts and my upbringing, I knew that there was a level that I would not go beyond. You feel me, Jerry?
Well, so I won't feel you because I don't play that, but you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
I got you. But look, there was times, brother, where I'm sitting there and the man say, look, you got to pull a trigger. What everybody don't know, in my mind, I was praying to God, please don't let me pull a trigger. So I was a good faker. I learned to fake like I was hard, to not be called out being weak. And God protected me, and martial arts protected me. This is a true story. The 5th, the 10th, and the 15th of the month in any community is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? And look, what's so crazy, the whole country, the world is set up. What is happening on the 5th, the 10th, and the 15th of every month? You're paying a bill. It's more money that goes through the hands of people during those 3 times of the month than any other time in the month. So I realized that from that activity and what was going on and the money we was making, I didn't realize that before I went into that. Remember, I told you I won the US Open. All right. I didn't realize, because I was still competing before I went into this darkness, I was now #1 in the Mid-Atlantic region. You follow me, Jerry? Because of all that stuff that I was doing, as they say, plan your work and work your plan. The reason why you plan your work, because even when you can't work, the plan's going to manifest into the work. Am I making sense to you, man?
Yeah, of course. You know that.
So what happens, I'm on the step one day, twirling, people everywhere. And a guy say, oh, yo, Bam, somebody want to see you. I'm like, who want to see me? What's up? Some guy by the name of Dennis Brown want to see you, man. Oh, man. I'm like, I snapped out of anything I felt because that was my teacher. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. Teacher, man. So through all those dope things, who here do I see? I see Dennis Brown. And he say, Bam, can I talk to you? And he take me up to my house and he showed me the magazine that says, you're #1 in weapons and forms in the Mid-Atlantic region with Robert McDuffie. You know Robert McDuffie. And he says, and by the way, here's your jacket because you're now a Shifu. God bless me. God made me realize what I was put here to do. And a man that loved me so much, he came through the wolves and he gave me hope again. And the very next day in a downtown office building, my boy, he said, Bam, you got to make a choice. Are you going to hustle or are you going to do martial arts? I'm going to do martial arts with all the fear. And guess what? I never had to sell drugs again. The respect and all the things, because I realized by standing up and holding on to my dream, I became the beacon of hope for all the guys that didn't have a dream. Oh, man.
Hey, baby, listen, but we must look at who you're talking to. Take a look at me right here. Look into my eyes. So you know what I'm talking about, because guys, listen to me. Bam, or I consider what I would say, boom, boom, back, boom, 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 back, boom, boom, back. So while you're going through your struggles, I'm going to mine, and we know how to front at different levels.
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know why God put me in the position of leadership. I've always been pretty good at motivating the motivators, leading the leaders, congregating those guys, because nobody talks to those people the way I do. Because I look at leaders as minorities. They're always outnumbered, and they're the ones that need freaking help. And nobody goes there to help them. They do the opposite. They go to deplete and get more energy. And they don't know that when they close their schools, they cry because they don't know what the hell's going on, man. I'm over here trying to do the right thing, taking care of these karate students. And I'm having problems at home. And people have no idea what we go through. I just realized there's a video that's on right now that I'm playing live again. So it's a watch that I did 2 years ago. When I break down how I gave a check with no money in it on a Friday to get my school in Manhattan on Broadway, I was only short about $12,000. And it was my initial check. I gave him the check on a Friday, and I knew that back then there was no weekend banking, so it wouldn't bounce until Tuesday because he can't deposit it until Monday.
So
between that window, but to have the audacity to want to have a school on Broadway when you're naming lights, to have the audacity to give a back check, to have the audacity to make a phone call. Listen, I need $12,000 by Monday. Meet me in the house. I know what to do.
Yeah.
And I figured it out.
Yeah.
But when you think about that alone, I was 27 years old. And at that point, I'm old as compared to the teenager that was already teaching martial arts at age 16. And I look back at that 27-year-old and I'm saying, man, you know what, man? I'm proud of you. What you didn't have is what I want to provide for people. Is
Yeah.
that guidance that been there, done that. So anyway, I know at 10 o'clock, you got to be out of here. We got about 3 minutes left, man.
But this what I want to say to you, brother. And you were one person that regardless of when I didn't have enough money to get on the bus, there was one person that took me to the bus station. There was one person that believed in me and shouted for me when nobody else was there. I didn't have no teams. I had a family, and you created a chant. You had the whole auditorium. You showed me love. You showed me support, because that's what warriors do. Iron sharpens iron. You were always there for me, brother. And even when I came home from jail, you and Kevin Thompson, George Chung, John Chung, y'all never treated me any different. Who was it? What was it? Man, who am I thinking? Richie Brandon. God bless his soul.
Oh, rest in peace.
You did, Jerry. Even when I wanted to go out on my own and start my school, I would call you all the time. And you made me believe in myself. And you continue to this day, brother, to be someone that is my family and I love from the bottom of my heart, man. I mean, it goes far beyond.
But you know the feeling is mutual.
I know.
See, that's the good part. That's the good part, because as you're doing all those things, I'm just like loving every second of it. I don't get a chance to see it all because I'm trying to do my thing also, but I've never been a hater, man. I was taught by my mother to appreciate people. I was taught by my grandmother not to hate. Are you kidding me? These women, these warrior women had to do some incredible stuff to make sure that their children were being brought up. And I was like the prince, so to speak, in the sense that as a little man, I was a little man. Not a boy, a man. And the difference is stepping up to your responsibility, your responsibility, your ability to respond. And I was pretty good at that. And you know what? I know the best is yet to come, bro. So again, I'm a little selfish because I said to you the other day, yesterday, man, don't say nothing again. Stop. Because we're not recording this and we're not going to get a chance to hear this stuff, because when we watch this at that dark hour, 50 years from now, we'll be like, man, I look pretty good back then.
All right, so I'm going to send this to you. I got a meeting with the mayor. We good?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We good, man. All
love,
right,
brother.
Man, love. So make sure you press the record. I mean, the save. I don't got nothing. I'm messed up over here, guy. I'm ass out.
All right,
but I can't see the mic. Yeah.
You said
and
push
again, guys.
button.
Yeah. So I think when it ends, it might go automatically to the cloud anyway. Cause you got to set up like that anyway. Never mind.
Right,
so yeah, cause you're the host. We're good. All right, man. God bless. Right. AB.
See ya.
Boom, 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 bam, boom, bam, bam. Peace.
Peace.